In today's lesson, we'll be learning how to solve multi-step equations. In our first example, we have the equation 5x plus 10 equals 3x. The first thing you want to do is look for like terms. You'll notice that 5x and 3x are like terms. Like terms like to be together, which means I can bring the 5x over to be with the 3x, or I can bring the 3x over to be with the 5x. I'm going to bring the 5x over to be with the 3x. Generally speaking, you want variables and numbers to be on separate sides of the equation. When you bring a term over the equal sign, it becomes the opposite. So it is no longer positive 5x, it is now negative 5x. I'm going to erase the positive sign in front of 10 since you don't really need it. Next, I'm going to simplify the right side of this equation. 3x subtract 5x. So you may want to use a calculator or a number line here. We're going to start off with the number 3. And since we're subtracting, we're going to move 5 spaces over to the left, which means you're going to end up at negative 2. So that would be negative 2x. I now want you to focus on the negative 2 in front of the x. What exactly is this negative 2 doing to the x? Well, it's multiplying. And the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So we're going to divide this by negative 2. And what you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other side of the equation. These negative 2's are going to cancel out, which leaves me with just x. And 10 divided by negative 2 is going to be equal to negative 5. Now, why is it negative? It is negative because when you have a positive number divided by a negative number, you're going to get a negative number. Therefore, negative 5 is x. In our second example, we have an equation 6x plus 2x minus 4 equals 12. The first thing you want to do is look for like terms. You'll notice that 6x and positive 2x are like terms. Meanwhile, negative 4 and positive 12 are like terms. Like terms like to be together. 6x and positive 2x are already together, so we can just leave them alone. Next, you'll have to bring the negative 4 over to be with the 12, or you can bring the 12 over to be with the negative 4. I'm going to bring the negative 4 over to be with the 12. Remember, generally speaking, you want to keep variables and numbers on separate sides of the equation. When you move a term across the equal sign, it actually becomes the opposite. So that negative 4 is no longer a negative. It now becomes positive 4. We can now simplify both sides of the equation. 6x plus 2x is going to give you 8x, and 12 plus 4 is going to give you 16. Next, I want you to focus on the 8 in front of the variable of x. What exactly is 8 doing to it? Well, it is multiplying, and the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide this by 8, and what you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other side of the equation. These 8's are going to cancel out. The x is still there, and 16 divided by 8 is going to give you 2. Therefore, x is equal to 2. In our third example, we have the equation 2 plus 3x equals 6 plus 4x. The first thing you want to do is look for like terms. You'll notice that 2 and 6 are like terms. Meanwhile, positive 3x and positive 4x are also like terms. Like terms like to be together. However, we also want to keep numbers and variables on separate sides of this equation. Therefore, I'm probably going to move the 6 over so it's together with the 2, and I'm going to move the 3x over so that it's together with the 4x. Remember, when you move terms across the equal sign, they become the opposite. Therefore, when I move that positive 6 over, it's no longer positive, it now becomes negative. Furthermore, when I move that positive 3x over to the other side, it is no longer positive, it now becomes negative 3x. And you do not need to write this positive sign in front of the 4x, you can erase it. Next, let's simplify both sides of this equation. 2 subtract 6. I'm going to use a number line here, so I'm going to start at the number 2, and I'm subtracting 6, which means I'm moving 6 spaces to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Therefore, I end up at negative 4. So 2 subtract 6 is negative 4. Now on the right side of the equation, 4x minus 3x, that's a little bit simpler. That's going to give you 1x. At this point, I want you to focus on the 1 in front of the variable of x. What is this 1 doing to it? Well, it is multiplying. And the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide this side by 1. And what I do to one side of an equation, I must do to the other side of an equation. Therefore, these 1's are going to cancel out, which leaves you with just x. And negative 4 divided by 1 is equal to negative 4. Now, why is it negative? Well, when you have a negative number divided by a positive number, that gives you a negative number. Therefore, negative 4 is equal to x.